With Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
Well, Alabama Governor Kay Ivey signed and approved the most restrictive bill that will ban abortions in the state of Alabama and challenge Roe versus Wade in the Supreme Court. So the bill will make it a crime for doctors to perform abortions at any stage of the pregnancy except ones in which the mother's health is at risk. The measure passed the Senate 25-6 after more than 4 hours of debate. At one point led to the introduction of spectators who had abortions after being raped. The chamber rejected putting exceptions in for rape and incest at 21-11 vote. The bill will make it a felony. Why do they do
that one? I don't get that one.
I don't know.
They're making a statement.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
The bill will make it a felony.
So this is
for
no
doctors.
abortion anywhere, anytime?
Anywhere, anytime, unless the mother's health is at risk, and a doctor could get up to, 99 years, life in prison.
The 99 years thing is...
Well, we'll have to do what we do. Like, look, I'm a male, I'm white, I'm rich, but I got problems too. So I live in La Cañada.
Yeah.
Oak trees are protected. You want to have one removed, you got to get a note from an arborist saying this thing's in bad shape, and then you can remove it.
Okay.
So you want to get an abortion in Alabama, you got to get one of those doctors that goes, her health is in risk. We're living in a world where we can call anything, go to the airport and see how many dogs are at the airport now. I say there'll be cottage industries where you go online.
Why not?
You get a note that says health is, and by the way, health can mean anything now.
Yeah.
Like mentally, she's not prepared to give up the kids.
Yeah.
You get a note and get an abortion.
I don't know if that'll fly, but here's what I don't understand. I looked up Alabama just because you always see it at sort of the bottom of rankings for things. And from U.S. News and World Report, they are like almost dead last in everything, in education, in public safety, in fiscal stability, in healthcare, and crime.
Being classist again.
But that's what I don't understand. All of these things are giant problems. You're last in all of these things. Why don't you focus on that before doing this?
It's the same way that countries that are in the worst shape ever cheer harder for their soccer team. Like, you want them to go, come on, guys, you have beheadings in the town square. People are living in slums. Come on, the government's corrupt. It's the most dangerous place in the world to ride a moped at night. And like, but the soccer team. Yeah, they just go, they get something they focus on. They can put all their attention into it. I'm starting to believe this more and more and more. Like, we pick these things. I've always kind of thought about, like, why is there so much attention on this when this is going on over here? And we do the same thing. Like, we go, like, we get on these kicks, like, we got to get these kids iPads so they can get ahead. And it's like, oh, no, we got huge problems in our schools.
Sweet
not this. It's that. We do a lot of that in our culturally in general. And other cultures do it as well. They just... You go, what are they focusing on this for when they got all this other stuff to fix?
Yeah. And then I read also some, conservatives are hoping that this goes to the Supreme Court because now that it's leaning a little more conservative, maybe they could get a big Roe v. Wade overturned. But I don't know. This just doesn't seem like
it might also be a cart before the horse thing. I mean, when you are close to last or last in so many of those categories, including public education, you're going to have, an electorate that is going to be focused on other things when it comes to voting their representatives in. So suddenly if somebody's in a district going, we are going to morally change America, then you might be more inclined to vote for him instead of going, oh, wait a second, our public works system is falling apart.
But
Can't we get some construction?
How would you ever get out of last place in education when now you have teenage girls who can't get an abortion and they're not going to go to school? Maybe their kids will or won't go to school. Or fiscal stability when now there's kids that are having babies that don't have jobs. Like, I don't understand this.
Yeah.
It's
a moral issue. They consider it. I believe, a God-given moral right to try to do this. I believe that's where they're coming from. I don't know for sure.
This is basically two things. First off, I'm going to make you feel better, Gina Gray.
Okay, that'd be great.
If we completely outlaw abortion in this country, it'll be tragic to many of the women who want abortions here, but it'll be refreshing to see Americans sneaking into Mexico. See, turnabout is fair play.
All
that border action, all that's going on.
I'm going to give Mexico a little more credit. I don't think you'll have to sneak in if that ever came.
You know, you're right.
Oh yeah, I think they'll have it lit up with those nice little Christmas tree lights.
Yeah, they're like a rest stop. They're like a rest stop restroom, right? Like they're just kind of no doors on the stalls. They're always open. Not the nicest toilet you'll shit into, but it's always there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Friendly.
You're right. I should pitch that to them. So, hey, you want something to put on your flag?
Good thing Alabama's so close to Mexico.
Folks will be able to get into Mexico.
Okay.
You know, we have a pretty long border with them. We'll figure that out. Also, no one says you can't stay a few days and
enjoy the city.
Put your tootsies in the sea or have a soft taco. Number one. Number two, I've heard people talk about this. If it goes to the states, and I think it may, I don't know. But if it goes to states, and there's certain states that are never going to go that way. And you'll have to go to one of those states. It'd be like buying fireworks. Except for the opposite in terms of the festivities. Got an abortion come up. Want to get some sparklers.
tough
precedent to bring up in front of the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
You know, this case reminds me of fireworks.
There was some debate, and again, I hope there's no legitimacy to it, but I think it was probably a slippery slope debate, which is why I couldn't find any site. I couldn't cite the source. But somebody said if you live in that state, that law could follow you to different states. If you are a resident, say, of Alabama, then they're not going to allow you to get an abortion in a different state.
Here's what why no one likes me. I don't think that's it, we're going to have that. I know everything is, and then what? Yeah. And then I don't think there's going to be an and then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Wisconsin. The drinking age is 6. That doesn't mean I can drink.
My thing with abortion is it kind of reminds me of pot some years ago, which is like some people were needlessly over the top, like any drug's a drug and it's a Schedule I drug and it leads to other. They were way too. And then on the other side, there was Doug Benson, which is, what do you mean it's good for you? It's like working out or taking a multivitamin. And like the problem is one side goes too hard, the other side goes too hard. Yeah. There's a hard left and a hard right on abortion. Like abortion after birth or during birth or whatever, there's some of that. And it's like, we don't want that. We don't want this. There's some. Where's it
Dean
out
Cain,
of? That's
Dr. Kermit.
That's Kermit Gosnell or something. There's I don't know where it was out of. Let's see. Try to think of Illinois or something like that, where it's like legal for abortion up until the last, super late. I mean, the kid's got a brain and stuff. They have to like crush it with tongs and everything. I mean, the late term stuff gets ugly. You have to go in there and like mash the kid's head until white stuff like comes out, kind of thing. It's not like vacuum up. It's kill a viable kid, but meet in the middle. Like, here's what I'm saying.
Well, more and more.
Before you defend us, what I'm saying is. Let's just figure out something that's sensible, some amount of time, not the product of incest or rape. Just have a sort of, drinking age isn't 13. It's not 31. We kind of go 21. Okay. How old to drive an automobile? Like 16. You better get a learner's permit when you're 15 and a half. And how enlist in the Army? 18. Graduated high school. Like, let's just kind of figure that one out with abortion. That's all I'm saying. Just find a middle that no one will ever agree on.
Redefine the center of the country in order to do that. There used to be an economic center to the country. There was a middle class that represented all of that represented the center, and you could hear the screaming from both sides and go, all right, give us a couple of years. We'll try to sort this out. We don't really have that anymore, but I still believe there is a center to the country that eventually does this kind of thing. Study after study shows people are okay with abortion at least through the first trimester, and then it starts to get a little murky, and then we define our lines. But
doing the Chet Waterhouse voice, please.
Oh, brother.
Man, oh man! I want to tell you, this is some kind of debate.
I get it. I mean, you're kind of saying what I'm saying. It's like, why should it go? Look, whether it's pot or whether it's abortion, why should we go far this way or far that way? Right. It's not a wonder drug that's good for you, but it should be able to be enjoyed responsibly by adults. Or
understand that the process is there will be a far left extreme and a far right extreme that will take their positions. Now let's respect the center of the country that's going to figure this out. Let's respect that process.
And then there's Georgia who's saying, not after 6 weeks. I would imagine a lot of women don't know they're pregnant at 6 weeks, a month and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, so we're just going to sort of hope everybody calms down.
Well, let's see
what was the Illinois one. Was it Illinois? What was I thinking of?
I mean, the most recent one was New York did a whole fundamental right in January.
What was that one? Or what's the? Oh, it's not Illinois, New York. I'll think of it maybe. All right, you keep. Well, I don't know what you're looking for. What are you looking for? What are you typing in?
Or just the most recent abortion law news for each state, and just which one went most recently.
All right. Somebody. God, who was it? It was the. It was, who's the guy got into trouble for blackface? Is that guy?
The Virginia governor?
Oh, it was Virginia.
Northam?
Yeah, it was Virginia. Yeah, Virginia.
And then his somebody else got in trouble, like his lieutenant governor got in trouble for like the same thing or something.
It was great. He's like, oh, you want me to step aside? We got another guy who was dressed up like Huggy Bear in a Starsky and Hutch sketch from 1977.
Right.
And then the other guy, well, he could take my place, but he's embroiled in a sex scandal. So maybe I'm looking pretty good about now.
Right.
Like my whole thing is I don't want to be a great governor. I just want all the lieutenants and everyone else to be embroiled in scandals. Like, hi, I'm going to need a picture of you in blackface. Like, I don't have one. Well, here you go. Let's do it now. It is insane that well, let's get the other guy a picture of him in blackface, too.
That.
That's great. All right, so I want to live in a world where every woman has a bootleg sex tape and every guy has an old picture in blackface.
We're very close.
And then we'll no longer be able to judge.
Yeah.
Like, no one will be able to go, you can't run for this. What about your checkered past? Like, I'll go, what about yours?
Yeah.
All right, sorry, what else?
I just had an idea that is probably going to not be a popular idea, but if we're talking about, you're basically making laws on people's bodies that you'll never have to experience if you're a man, obviously.
Absolutely.
So just in that thinking, what if on your 18th birthday, all men had to get vasectomies, and then you can get it reversed later if you want to?
That'd be awesome.
Sweet.
Right.
That would be awesome for me. That would make my life great.
I think the vasectomy surgeons are behind this.
Yeah.
The big vasectomy.
I understand. Yeah,
I'm trying to make sense of this, and I don't think I'm going to be able to.
No, but for sure, more women have to be involved in the legislative decisions at all of these.
Governor Kay Ivey just signed it, so that's. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's possibly naive to go like, well, we got to get more women involved so we can shit. I think women may. I don't know how it breaks down. There's plenty of religious women. There's plenty of women that are the governor who are against abortion. Like, I don't know that it's about, like we do. They
probably help.
21 white males made this. Like, I don't know that black males or black females would oftentimes can be more. I mean, I think it's sometimes more conservative in their religious.
Yeah,
I mean, I think black
open
people
it
are
up.
probably more religious than honkies are.
I'm just, honestly, what made me think of the vasectomy thing was the Yakov Smirnoff joke. Well, I'm not going to give you a chicken. I have chickens.
Right.
It's like you, deep down at your core, there's something that you'll never have to worry about. So it kind of, that can't help but factor in.
No, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Okay,
right.
We'll see. So San Francisco is to become the first U.S. city to outlaw the use of facial recognition software by police and other city departments. Supervisor Aaron Peskin, who championed the legislation, said he was worried the Big Brother technology would lead to a greater police state in San Francisco. They've stopped testing facial ID stuff since 2017 already. Meanwhile, critics say police need all the help they can get.
Ironically, where the technology comes from.
Exactly, especially in a city with high-profile events, high rates of property crime. People expect privacy in public spaces anymore is unreasonable, and this close to Silicon Valley also makes it kind of ironic.
We're going to have to sign off the notion. I mean, what's going on in San Francisco with the homeless and breaking into cars and just property theft and just everything that's going on. We're going to have to sign off on the notion that if a cop stops you and like asks you where you're going or to take your hands out of your pocket or something, that's kind of part of living in a society. You may have a pocket full of nothing and you may be going to church or Nana's house. But we have to kind of wrap our heads around cops are going to have to go. We're basically saying to people, look, you take a gun and a badge and some reflective sunglasses and go walk around amongst the populace. And if you see folks that might be committing crimes or you think are going to commit crimes or just have committed crimes or are committing crimes, you're going to have to get involved. With that in mind, there's going to be a lot of people just stopped because it so happens that people may be walking home at 2 a.m. or something from the club, and the cops are going to stop them. Now, we don't want a society where the cop hits them over the head with a billy club. It's just you're allowed to talk. And in terms of like facial recognition or ID or I'm going to need to see some ID or where are you going, that's it. That's what the airport is. Yeah. That's what every building in Manhattan is. You go to do Howard Stern. You don't walk into the building, and you don't walk into the lobby and have the guy behind the counter go, I need some ID. And you go, what's up?
Yeah, we have to.
You don't trust me? You call me a criminal? Like that's where we're at. So it's fine.
The World War II mentality of we have to pull together for a greater good has to be broken down into these smaller wars, for lack of a better term. And one of them is this. I mean, profiling, whatever you want to call it. I remember when I was on the road a lot in the 80s and 90s. It was like I had my own chair at the Miami Airport DEA office because every time I went through Miami, they stopped me. And here was the trick. I never had drugs in my luggage. So there's that. And I just went, okay, if this is this is what it takes, if they have to, if this is what's needed to prevent drugs from coming in, I'm fine with that. I'm a citizen of, I've been stopped in Los Angeles because they think I'm Hispanic or something. Okay, I don't have a machete on me. Pat me down, move on to the next guy. Let's roll. This is a price we might have to pay for a safer society. And I understand there's more legal ramifications to it, but let's be serious here. The police have to have some tools at their disposal that we can't.
Yeah, and
cut it off at every pass.
And talking heads that represent groups, males, minorities, whoever you're representing, please wrap your head around the fact that police aren't perfect. People are going to get stopped. People are going to get talked to. Occasionally, people are going to be inconvenienced and brought in and detained because they look exactly like another guy. And you shouldn't take great offense to that. I mean, if somebody gives a description of a guy who robbed a car and then we see a guy running from that direction, the cop may stop you and he may even haul you in. That's part of our society. Every time you go to the airport, it's like belts off, shoes off, wait in line, randomly pulled out of line, swab down the bag for explosive materials. Okay, I get it. I don't raise a fucking hell at the airport. There's terrorists. They've used airplanes as weapons. You want to fly? You want to live in a society? That's part of it. I don't know when this notion that, the cops, they can't, one mistake is one too many. Like, it's going to happen. The facial recognition stuff is going to get screwed up. Hopefully we have enough checks and balances where people don't go to the guillotine the following morning and then we find out we cut off the wrong guy's head. But there's going to be a lot of that. I don't know when the bar got so high. And the alternative is having all your shit stolen from your car. So we're trying to prevent that. Let the cops do their job. Back it off a little. Like this whole thing, like, I don't want to live in a police state. I don't know. I like when I see cops driving down the street. I wave to them. I like that they're doing their job. I like that they're on patrol.
There's constantly a call for more police presence in certain communities.
And a lot of these communities with the kind of Ferguson effect where it's like cops are like, I'm not even getting out of the car. The places that need it the most aren't getting the attention. The places with the most crime aren't getting the cops. The cops don't want to go in there. They don't want to be called racist. They don't want everything.
And I'd rather work on it from that and work on it from the balances end of checks and balances. Let's get some stuff in place for police so they have more sensitivity, more understanding, whatever it is. Anytime a community gets involved with their teachers, with their police departments, whatever it is, it tends to work out for the better.
You know what they've found out too? There's a study. We'll get into it tomorrow, Max Pavish. You can write it down. There's a study that since the cops, the notion was going to put body cams on cops and then we're going to catch all these bad cops doing all these bad things. Oh, the reports of the cops' abuse have gone way down because a lot of these things are cooked up. A lot of these stories are completely cooked. The body cams have not prevented, statistically, cops from doing horrible things to citizens. It's prevented citizens from lying about cops.
Right.
So I like the technology. Put a fucking body cam on every cop. Do facial recognition.
And it may work both ways.
Yes.
A cop might think twice about it.
Absolutely. Let's enter the 21st century together. All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. No, I won't.
No, sorry.
I shan't. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. I smelled a donut.
Gina. That was the news with Gina Grad.